Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. My name is Siobhan, and in today's reading, we're bringing through some general messages scryed or channeled directly from Spirit. We do have 3 cards to choose from, as usual, though, so you can select from these, and then as we get into the readings, we'll be pulling messages directly from Spirit. So group number 1, we have the Queen, and these are the archetype cards by Caroline Myss. Group number 2 is the Liberator in reverse. And group number 3 is the Lover archetype. If you feel called to more than one reading, or maybe all of them, or in a particular order, follow your instincts and your intuition to lead you to the messages that are meant for you. Take only what resonates and leave the rest, as these are general and collective readings. Timestamps are in the description box, or you can use the chapter notes below to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Queen, and on the card it says the light attributes are radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. The shadow attributes are becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling, and demanding. So we'll just leave this in the center as the significator, but I'm going to bring through energy or messages, whatever Spirit wants to share with you today. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing is a knight, like a knight in shining armor, a mercenary or a military man from the Middle Ages clad in armor, riding on a horse. I'm hearing upon his steed. And when we think about the Queen as an archetype, which it is exactly what we're looking at here, it feels like this knight is a protector. Serving the sovereign is what I just heard, serving the sovereign. Now it feels to me, group number 1, like this is a part of yourself. So you are the Queen and you're also the knight, and you get to sit on the throne, safe in the castle, while you send the knight out to do your bidding, in a sense, or to go looking for things, or to protect the castle, or to acquire something, or to send a message, to send that knight to a foreign land to relay something, or to ask for and receive messages from others as well. I'm hearing the word admittance, like requiring admittance into something, or is this talking about admitting something possibly as well? Knights in the tarot can have to do with travel, communication, messages, journeys, quests. I just heard something about taking things slowly. And I'm hearing the word methodical. So the Queen takes things slowly, or the knight takes things slowly, in the sense that there's time to methodically plan something out, but I also just heard time for play. Okay, so if we're talking about like kings and queens and castles and knights, maybe this is even about fantasy. If I'm looking in a kind of zooming out and looking at it in a wider sense, this could be representative of play. Okay, now they're showing me a sign, and it's got a big red circle and a cross through the circle, you know, like the quintessential sign of no, this is not allowed here, like no smoking with a big old red cross through it, or no ghosts, Ghostbusters. But I'm seeing it as no admittance. And they said the word admittance before. So something is not permitted to be in your presence. If you're the Queen, the knight is there to protect you from it. So this could be talking about boundaries, or perhaps you feel as though you don't have admittance or time to play in such a way that you need to, because it's not methodical, or there's not something to it that is serving a higher purpose. Like you have too many responsibilities on your plate, or there's too much going on. But I feel like there's these parts of the self that maybe even if they're going in separate directions or serving different tasks, there's still a common goal in mind. And for some reason, it feels like this quest that you are, okay, I just heard being served, like a quest that you're being served or this could be the judicial or legal sense being served, like something about a subpoena, like being given the papers to say you have to present yourself here, or you are restricted in this way, or whatever it is. There's something to do with authority here, because the Queen's making me think of, again, like sovereignty, rulership, and dictating what needs to be done, or what at least the Queen desires to have done. So, okay, I'm seeing a Monopoly board in my mind now. Monopoly. You know what this makes me again? They're showing me that, the little figures, right? Like the little play pieces that you get to choose. Which one did you guys always choose as a kid? Did you ever play Monopoly and you had like a favorite play piece, or did you like to switch it up? But they're showing me the one with the horse. And I can't remember if it has a rider on it or not, but there's one that's a horse. I liked the hat and the thimble. I don't know why. I liked the hat and the thimble. So there's something here about movement, going around the board, going on a quest, looking for something, playing the game, maybe imagination and fun, and making room for that in your life. And Monopoly also makes me think of like authority, or a monopoly on your own inner authority on what you want to do. Maybe you feel like something's taking up too much of your time, monopolizing your time, your energy, and removing that whimsical nature that is actually really crucial to the method here. Actually, this is what it feels like. There's something about the imagination or the whimsy that helps you to accomplish a goal here, or to make something come together. Maybe it's even to do with money, because Monopoly reminds me of money and real estate or legal things again, There's something about business here. Maybe it's been a focus on that, like running the kingdom has been such a big task, and it doesn't feel like the Queen or the Knight have much room or much time or space to be able to just hang out and have fun and imagine. I'm hearing the Queen needs you to do this, and now they're showing me Ghostbusters again. So maybe there's something that needs to be removed from your life, something that was haunting you, or something that you need to not permit admittance to, because it in some way is haunting you, or has a negative energy to it, or it's something forceful in your life that needs to be limited or removed in some way, or regulated. Like signs with the no admittance, or like the big cross through them. That's like authority, government putting that up, public cities and things like that, saying like, this is what we allow, this is what we don't allow. It's a larger sort of doctrine of boundaries. So I feel like if this is at a personal level for you, which it most likely is, but it could be anything, the spirit guidance here is to kind of take a look at where things have kind of slipped into maybe a way of being that isn't good for you, or that you don't actually want to keep doing or playing that game, that specific game. They're showing me two people playing Monopoly again, and one person getting really frustrated and then flipping the board over, and all of the pieces get scattered to the winds. And as I'm saying that, my throat just got really like tickly on the inside, scratchy, itchy. Oh, wow. Okay. It feels like rage or unexpressed rage, or something that has not been permitted to exist that needs to be expressed. So it's interesting that we're kind of fluctuating between these messages of, okay, what needs to be done, and also what fun needs to be had, and also then what emotions are coming up and things that don't feel good. So we're kind of looking into this emotional space is what it looks like to me. I just heard any given time. And I'm hearing ready to explode, and they're showing me that person. So it's like if you have focused so intently on your responsibilities to the exclusion of all else, and something or someone has been monopolizing your time and energy, it's repressing that emotion within you, or that energy within you. And it's like at any given time that could just explode. And it's not It's not really a result of like what's happening outside of you, although it is, obviously, that's an impact, that's making an impact, but it's what's going on inside in terms of where you are allowed or feel that you're permitted or allowed to express that. Okay, now they're showing me somebody sitting beside a fire. And this is a symbol that has come up both collectively for me behind the scenes. It's also come up in personal readings, private readings that I've done for people. So this seems to be a quite prevalent theme right now, sitting beside a fire or something about the fire or campfire. All right, then I just heard, and they showed me these two people sitting beside a fire and toasting champagne glasses, which is not something that you normally associate with, like a campfire, for example. It feels like you would be using more like camping utensils or something for that. But no, they showed me like really nice crystal champagne glasses, and I just heard rice, or it sounded like rice as I tried to say nice. And the rice is reminding me of like throwing rice at a wedding. So there's something about like an engagement or a proposal or something about, I'm hearing maternity, something about maternity leave that's coming in quite randomly. But there's like a clinking of the glasses, or there's a celebration of something here that feels to me like it's associated with an engagement of some kind, whether it's literal engagement in marriage or an engagement of your attention in a different direction. I just heard the knight returns to the castle. And I'm hearing the tinkling of china and the clinking of the glasses again in that celebration, or in that toast, or in that cheersing. Okay, I heard crucial standards and something about a standing point. Okay, they're saying something about where business is done. Where business is done. And I'm hearing not in the bedroom. Kitty is for confirmation, and she's meowing already in your reading. Hi. You want to come up? Come here. So something about business not being done in the bedroom or in areas of play. Yeah, they're showing me the sleeping chambers in the castle, like the queen's bedroom. That's not where business is normally done. It would be in like the courtroom or in the throne room or in some kind of a map room or something, it would be in a different room. So maybe this is about having boundaries around your personal space or where you do certain things, or setting space or time aside because maybe something has become entangled or inappropriate in the wrong in where it is positioned. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to explain this energy. It's like needing to separate things in a way so that you can have a better grasp on what's going on and what you want to do with that. And they're bringing me back to the message about real estate again, like in Monopoly. The whole goal of the game is to acquire real estate on property and to get the best property, or to get the most houses on that property, or whatever. I don't know. I was never very good at Monopoly, but there's something about the home. The castle represents the home as well, and the bedroom, or where business is done. I also just heard safety in sovereignty. Safety in sovereignty. And I'm getting a sense about emotional safety and something about the bedroom again, where the bedroom is ideally where we want to feel the safest, because we're going to lay our heads down for the night, close our eyes, and go into a prolonged state of unconsciousness. So we want to be both physically and emotionally safe to be able to do that. Okay, I'm hearing something about acquiring resources, and they're showing me that knight being sent out through the gate. Something about an opening portal, because they're showing me the drawbridge and the gate. So the gate being open, moving through that space, across the bridge, and then out into or onto the road. And there seems to be like a forest or a hamlet of some kind off in the distance that they're showing me. And so there's this questing energy of going out looking for resources or acquiring those resources to bring them back to the castle. Maybe this is talking about going out of the home to go to work. If this, like, let's say, for example, you work from home, and this message is looking at creating some kind of separation here, maybe physically, in terms of the way that you're operating in your business or with friends and family, or separating playtime and fun time, playtime and work time, and having different arenas for that to occur in. I'm not too sure. You'll have to interpret this how it fits for you, but there's definitely a message here about, I was going to say that there's a message here about work, fun, and play, but I also just heard fealty, and again, like in medieval times, fealty was seen as your loyalty to the crown or to the sovereign rulers, to the king and queen. So there's something about the loyalty here and boundaries, and I'm hearing self-efficacy. So like where is your self efficient in some way? I'm not sure what to make of this message for you, group number one. If this is making sense, let me know if you want to in the comments. But there's something about you being able to monopolize. No, but I don't see monopoly as a good thing, right? Like I don't see monopoly as a good, but maybe you're taking back your time, energy, or resources. I'm not sure. I'm hearing picking and choosing. And I'm seeing a pear, like the fruit, a pear. Picking and choosing. Something about going to the grocery store and like how you would select a fruit, or something about how much time is being spent selecting or choosing, and what is the most efficient method, or what is the most fun method. There's kind of a back and forth energy, and maybe the knight wants to do it differently than the queen, but the fealty that the knight has to the queen prevents him from doing it in the way that he wants to do it. He's kind of bound to doing it the way that the queen has dictated. So interpret this how it resonates for you, but there's like maybe an aspect of you that feels like something needs to be done in a strict sort of way, or in a routine sort of way that you're used to, but there may be room for change here, or adaptation, or adding in something different, or setting a boundary around something that's not efficient or not good for you is going to help improve the situation, the circumstances that you find yourself in. Okay, they said creating a way forward. And again, knights can talk about movement forward, direction, paths, and paths. I just heard paths through the pathless woods. And they were showing me the path leading out of the castle, right? Like the drawbridge, and then the path that leads out of the castle, the larger castle gates out beyond the keep, and then off into the distance. And they were showing me that path going into the woods. So the path through the woods becomes pathless in some way. So something dissolves, and maybe it's not structured anymore, and you have to kind of pick or find your own way or create your own way. And maybe there's a certain level of adaptation to that. I just heard the word humiliation. What? And it's connected to this message about monopoly again, like something about humiliation. It's like a kid who doesn't want to play the game because they lost so badly that it was humiliating, and that's where the rage is coming from. It's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. This game's stupid anyway, like how kids tend to do. So maybe there's I'm not sure what aspect this is, or someone around you maybe. I don't know. But there's something here about humiliation and not wanting to continue, or deliberately resisting something because in the past it didn't work out the way that you'd hoped it did, and therefore it felt like it didn't serve you. But I'm hearing making a way forward, and they're saying try again. So if this is you that has felt resistant to something or said no to something because it was just like, no, that doesn't work for me, maybe there is a change that's coming in the way that you perceive that or the way that you're able to approach that, and therefore the results you get out of it. And there's something about this regal feminine energy of the queen that allows you to receive in a different way. So I'm getting this feeling of, now they're showing me the queen sitting on the throne and she's emanating energy like she's radiant, literally. Not just beauty like skin deep, but she's radiating energy out of her body. And I heard magnetic attraction. Magnetic attraction, something about Lancelot. Oh, Queen Guinevere and Lancelot. I haven't read those stories back to front or remember them all that well, so I'm not sure, but I know that there was some kind of affiliation between those two. So this could even be talking about dating or romance or business and pleasure or something like that. I'm kind of seeing all those themes cropping up here. And something about crops as well. Like tending the land and receiving the abundance from that. It's giving me Empress energy. Actually, what I just heard was it's serving Empress energy, and that's such a Gen Z term. I'm an elder millennial. It just feels like it's giving Empress, but this is queen energy. That's what it is. The Empress is actually the queen of all queens. So yeah, there's this radiant energy, this magnetic attraction that comes from overcoming some kind of maybe like false fealty or something that you were loyal to that once brought you security that just doesn't really actually serve you anymore. Doesn't serve the higher good, I just heard. Doesn't serve the higher good. And maybe being able to appropriately approach those emotions, which sometimes is what the dark forest can represent, or the pathless woods, it's going into the unknown. And if we're looking at that in terms of your own emotional depths, although I'm hearing the word proclivity, your own emotional proclivity, maybe getting better at knowing your emotions or identifying them, knowing what you need and then being able to ask for it or command or demand it, depending on the circumstances or situation. It's opening up a whole new avenue for you, or something that you're going to be celebrating. Now they're saying, hail to the queen. And they're showing seated on the throne. Oh, now I just got a flash of Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones, the episode where she's shamed and humiliated, walking through the town barefoot and with her head shaved as a punishment or penitence. It is a humbling moment for her. It was hard to watch. I remember that. So even though we hate that character, well, most people, she's portrayed as the evil queen, right? That's the queen in reverse, the shadow queen. Even though we hate her, there's something that humanizes her in that humiliation, in that humbling. It's like, sometimes something that's bad, we wouldn't even wish that on our worst enemy. So I don't know what this is talking about. Again, group number one, I know I've said that a lot in this reading. It just feels kind of abstract to me, but hopefully it makes sense to you. There's something about this humiliation or this humbling that you wouldn't wish on someone else. So maybe why would you allow that to happen? Or why not allow, but why would, or where does there need to be a boundary around that for yourself? Or an understanding of that to a higher degree or for a higher purpose. Okay, I just heard it's complicated. Well, yeah, I can see that from the energy of this reading, but maybe this is also what you've said or what you feel is like, this is a complicated situation. It's not easily cut and dry. It's not this or that. It's a little bit of everything. And that's why I think it can get a little bit convoluted and you can get lost in those pathless woods because there isn't a clear-cut answer or there isn't a clear-cut path that you just have gotten off of. Like, it's not about getting back onto the path. It's because there isn't one in those woods. You have to find it or make it yourself. And that's why it's challenging. And they're showing me that sign again, like no entry this way, or we don't admit this, or, so there's a pathless way that you are making forward. And it is through what you, I think, deem worthy or unworthy of being in your presence. It's what you're magnetizing and being conscious to what you're asking for, what you're receiving, what you're sending out, what you're bringing back. So looking at what you're manifesting consciously and unconsciously here. And whether that is in alignment with your security, your true sense of self, and what you really desire out of life. Because if something negative has been monopolizing your time, your energy, or your resources, then you need to take a look at that. And Spirit's encouraging you to do so, because this is why they've brought you to the reading. All right, anything else for group number 1, Spirit, that you'd like to say? They said put a cap on it, and they're showing me screwing the lid onto a bottle of something, like a drink, like putting the lid on it so that it doesn't spill, or so that you can preserve it, like keep its freshness and not lose it again, so that if it knocks over, it's not going to go anywhere. You won't lose that. And liquids to me often speak of emotion, or it's connected to that element of water, so it feels like emotions to me. And it's not always good to put a lid on your emotions, right? We don't want to suppress or repress, but there's something about preservation here and preserving yourself. And maybe that lid in this case is the boundary. It's the boundary. That's what it feels like. Okay, I think that's it, group number 1. That's the guidance messages, direct channeled information from Spirit that they wanted to bring through to you at this time. So if it doesn't make sense right now, maybe sit with it and allow it to puzzle out, or to present itself to you in other ways through your life. But if it resonates and your intuition is like, yeah, I know what this is about, then listen to that. More than anything, these messages are here to confirm to you what you already know, or to inspire, or to enlighten in a way that awakens within you that truth that is always inside you. So I hope that's what you're using them for, or that's why you're here. Thank you for being here. As always, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you to the members who support my channel in that way. You can become a member if you wish to. There's a link below that gives you access to the different tiers that are available. We've got weekly memberships and monthly live streams on different tiers. I have a second channel as well, the Divine Channel Collective Readings, where we bring through much larger sort of collective themes, although they can still apply personally. And thank you to everyone who has donated to me recently on the fundraiser to prevent bankruptcy. I really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to be making a video about that on my other channel to thank you once everything is said and done. And I'll give you an update. But thank you guys for that. It has been life-changing and healing on so many levels of that karma. So I appreciate every single one of you for all of the love, support, and resources you've channeled my way. Even just prayers and good thoughts, I can feel them, and I'm grateful. Okay. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2. Welcome to your reading. You were drawn to the Liberator card, and it's in the reverse, which is an emphasis, but not necessarily focusing solely on the shadow attribute. So let's read them both. The light attribute, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. The shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. I'm going to leave it upright so that I can consult this card if I need to, but for the most part, we're just going to be scrying and channeling in this reading. So right before I actually hit record for your reading, I heard the aristocrat, and I was like, oh, that feels like another archetype. And since we're using the archetype deck, it feels like it's connected to this message directly for you, group number 2. So it's somehow the aristocrat and the liberator. Like, what would an aristocratic person do to liberate? Or maybe it's about the power that you wield in, I'm hearing your field, okay, the power that you wield in your field. So this could be talking about your career or your social standing, or something about this energy of aristocracy. And this torch that she's holding in the card feels like, again, this power that you're wielding. And how are you holding it? Or how high are you holding it? Or who are you shining that light for? Are you using it to liberate yourself and others? Or to block in some way? The word outmoded just really stood out to me too. So aristocrats are an old way of doing things too. It's not necessarily modern. So maybe there's some kind of an outmoded way of doing things, but I also just heard belief system, an outmoded belief system around how you can wield your power for the good of all, let's say, for the good of humanity to some degree. And sometimes that's just how you show up for yourself too, right? Like if you are doing good for you, then that's going to have a positive ripple effect out into the world. At least that's what I believe. Like when we do good and we do well, right? When we do good with the intention of doing good, and we also do well at that doing good, do you know what I'm saying? Then it has positive consequences for ourselves and others. Yeah, I'm hearing Good Samaritan, which is another archetype. Exploring the archetypes. This is the Archetypes deck by Caroline Myss. You might want to look into it if you have it, play with it, see what comes up for you, or if you feel called to it or drawn to it. She also has books. I remember Caroline Myss. I don't think I have. Do I have them? I read the first one. I think it is about archetypes, and I have the second one, Soul Contracts or Sacred Contracts, but I haven't read that one in a long time. There's something about these archetypes that Spirit is encouraging you to explore, because these could be connected to this collective energy that you're working with, or that you are diving into and exploring within yourself. And part of that's going to be liberating. Like if you can look at these collective themes and archetypes that exist within you or that are being reflected to you out in the world, you're going to understand something more deeply. And that is freeing, very freeing. And they're showing me holding the torch up above your head. Now they're showing me Lady Liberty. And the intro to the movie, I can't remember what it is, not Paramount Pictures or TriStar maybe? I can't remember. You know the one with the lady with the torch? Which one is DreamWorks? No, that's the moon. You know what I'm talking about? So something about that archetype, or maybe something displayed to you in a movie, or something about it being older, like an older movie. Outmoded ways of thinking. Yeah, outmoded beliefs. Like you can look at an older movie, let's say from like the 70s or 80s, and it's like a time capsule where you can really see how thought has changed collectively. And maybe there's something about exploring that or those themes, looking at how thoughts have changed for you or within the collective through media or through archetypes or through, these like, oh, I just heard something about rational embodiment. Rational embodiment. What do you mean, Spirit? Okay, yeah, thank you. They clarified directly. They said exploring the depths within the self. So this is what I was thinking based on what they were giving me, but they just said it verbatim. So like that's exactly what they want you to do, is to explore these depths within yourself right now. Okay, I just heard across the timelines. That's what they said, across the timelines. Ooh, something about the Mandela effect as well. And that often can present in many different ways, but there's something about the movies or a significant movie that has a Mandela effect in it. And it's connected somehow to this theme of exploring collective archetypes. I just heard singed. What? They said singed theory. I have no idea what that is. I don't know if that's an actual theory or what, but they're showing me the torch again. Singed theory. Okay, they just showed me her holding the torch up and it setting off a fire alarm, like she's holding it up to the sprinkler system, and then it sets off, it triggers the fire alarm system to start spraying water. What does that mean? I'm hearing opening up to something. They said a degree of knowledge. Opening up to a degree of knowledge, previously unaware, and I'm hearing the word tainted. So definitely looking at shadow aspects. Offspring. I'm just doing a little bit of free association here to figure this out, but Something about shadow aspects is being highlighted here. They're showing me a bird flying, and that's why and when I stumbled over the word, it sounded like asprey or osprey. I think there's a type of bird. It's like along those lines, and it feels like freedom. Yeah, like birds fly free. I'm seeing an albatross actually now. They can fly for a really long time. I think they have like the biggest wingspan of all the birds or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And they can fly over the ocean for days, like literal days, or even longer. So something about timelines and like flying across time or looking back. You know what? The albatross also reminds me of the movie The Rescuers Down Under. Or in general, The Rescuers. It's like the little mice. It was like, I think it was a Disney movie from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And they go out and rescue. They do good. Like they save people. That's what they do. They just rescue. They solve these mysteries and they go and help kids. Maybe something about helping children. Offspring also came up. So helping children or doing something for the children, like looking at these shadows and these collective archetypes, holding that torch up for the generation to come, or something about these timeline splits between generations and how that shows up through these Mandela-like effects. Okay, I just heard timeline chopping, and they're showing me a butcher's knife and a chopping block. What the heck? Timeline chopping, what does that mean? They're saying cutting it into segments, and they're showing me like dark chunk. Like if it was a piece of meat, all marbled with different like light meat, dark meat, they're showing me cutting like the meat into segments, like the dark meat and the light meat needs to be separated in some way so that you can look at it better. But they're showing me a marbled cake, you know, when you would mix like chocolate and vanilla and you'd take a toothpick and swirl it all up. It's like it's harder to parse it apart, or it's harder to separate it when it's not clearly delineated, like this is dark and this is light. Because we're looking again at light attributes, shadow attributes. Maybe it's about light timelines and dark timelines. It's hard to pull them apart or to chop them in that way because they're not clearly defined, and maybe there's a lot of mixing that has occurred. Now they're showing me a DJ like mixing on a soundboard. Things have gotten blended together. You know how DJs will take two songs from maybe different generations and lay them over each other and have them play in a way that is either harmonious, like they're on the same vibration frequency or wavelength, and so the beat of each song will match and work well together. They're showing me an example from like, what is that movie? The one with the singing girl, a cappella. Can't remember what it's called. It's Anna Kendrick, and she gets into an a cappella group. But in the beginning, she likes to DJ and she likes to mix songs together to create something new. So, but if done poorly, right? If you have a good song with this one steady beat and you have another song that has a different beat and you mix them together, it can sound quite cacophonous. You know, it's like aggravating to the ear because they clash or they don't go together. So there's something here about like creating some kind of, not necessarily separation, but like being able to see each individual part or parsing them apart so that you can understand the origin, or so that you can see the details of each layer, if that makes sense. Yeah, they're giving me a lot of references and examples from movies, group number 2. I'm seeing Wedding Crashers now. That has never come up in a reading before. Wedding Crashers, what's the significance of that, Spirit? Okay, they just said people will know by what you show them. What do you mean? Are you saying that people in this reading will know by what's being shown, or are you saying that people will know by what group number 2 is showing them? Okay. So sometimes spirit is maddeningly cryptic, and they just said they will know in time, or it will be shown in time. So it's not a clear answer. So I'm still kind of in the dark about it, but maybe this is what it's talking about, even just like where have things been in the dark in some way? And where is there an elevation occurring on a mass level, and your perception of it or your awareness of it or your, I just heard the word herald or heralding, your ability to pioneer something, perhaps. They have been showing me a lot of synchronicities leading up to this reading of pioneers, especially with the caravan, the one with like the kind of like the loop, the canvas loop, the one, like the Western pioneer carts, carriage or whatever it's called. And like Little House on the Prairie or something. Okay, they're saying baked in. Yeah, something was baked into something, or half baked, and it's not all the way done, and it needs to be figured out on both levels, the higher and the lower. Or it needs to be separated out. They're showing me a key in the cake, which is like a trope that's used to indicate jailbreak or escape of some kind. Like you hide a key in the cake so that the person who's imprisoned can get out. Interesting that they're using references to cake here, like layered cake, marbled cake, a key in the cake. Something about cake. I love cake. So I don't mind that reference, but yeah, something about cake. Oh, now they're showing me mud that's dried and caked onto something, like the pioneers moving through the mud and then the sun, and it's like it's wet and then it's dry and it gets caked on. Old Dharma, I heard. Old Dharma. Interesting, because Dharma is good karma. Old Dharma? Why would that be caked on? They said triumphant release, and they're showing me again this. I'm hearing moderator, triumphant release, moderator, but they were showing me the image again of like Paramount Pictures or whatever that one is with the lady with the torch, holding up the torch. Something about on the mountain and being seen, elevation, a point of elevation, a high vibration, a high perspective, shining the light, getting to the top of something, being able to look down in a healthy way, not like in a derogatory way, but to see the shadow in the valley at the same time as you can see the light up on the top of the mountain, because you have access to an unshadowed point of view. Oh, I never thought about the mountain from that perspective, but that's what the mountain does. It gives you perspective, and it's one there's no shadow other than from the clouds, because you're at this high point of elevation. But if there's no clouds in the sky, then there's no shadows directly cast onto you if you're up on the top, the very tippy top. The mountain, and they're showing me a crown. Oh, crown chakra. Getting up to this higher elevated perspective of they said total viewpoint, like a holistic point of view that encapsulates all of these aspects, both light and dark, where you have this bird's eye view or this much higher vantage point through which to be able, this lens through which to be able to identify these highs and lows, ups and downs, these lights and darks, the shadow and the goodness, the good and evil, or something like that. That's been coming up in a few readings lately, I've noticed. They just said ground, making ground, and something about grounding patterns, maybe being able to identify these patterns and ground them, or maybe this is talking about timelines and grounding. Yeah, they said material form, grounding something into material form, or the grounded way that some of these archetypes or shadows show up in the collective. Or within yourself, but it feels more abstract to me, group number 2. Like, this isn't so much about how this negative liberator shows up in you in your life. It could be, but it feels more abstract, like you're studying it from a higher vantage point, like you would in school or something. You're analyzing it. You're not experiencing it. Does that make sense? When I said, does that make sense? Again, it feels like something is going to make sense to you, or you're going to be looking at things that do make sense, that don't make sense, and where there's been overlap or overlays. And I was also hearing something about Jane Austen novels, Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Maybe looking at themes in there. Maybe it's to do with feminine, masculine. Maybe it's to do with marriage. Maybe it's to do with dating or romance. Yeah, Wedding Crashers has to do with that as well. And there's themes of that in the other movie too. I think all movies have some aspect of love and romance in them. Not all, but a lot of media does, right? Movies, shows, songs, of course, music. So romance and themes of love could be areas to explore and to liberate some kind of shadow perspective or some outmoded beliefs within. I like that. Thank you, Spirit. That's a double entendre. They said piquing your interest, and they're showing me that mountain peak again. So it's using that word in two different ways. Getting to the peak and piquing your interest, because it's worth climbing to the top of that mountain if something does interest you, because there's probably a vantage point that is advantageous. It's going to give you the advantage in seeing and understanding something that you wouldn't necessarily have seen in that light, literally or figuratively, if you had not climbed to the top of that mountain. But it's hard to climb to a mountain if you're not interested in climbing it, right? Because it's a lot of work. So like, why would you? If you didn't want to, you just wouldn't. And so, yeah, they're showing me Mount Everest. Like the people who climb Mount Everest, they really want to climb that mountain. They're very interested in it. It's like, it almost becomes like an obsession. And maybe you have to watch the shadow side of obsession too, because it can be a good thing in the sense when it's motivating and when it leads you towards a particular goal that is good for you or good for the collective. But it can become shadow drenched as well, where the obsession can take a hold of you and get away from that greater good, or get away from your own personal health and healing, or whatever is good for you. They said something about standing and stability. I'm hearing something about an anchor point. Yeah, anchor point also has relation to timelines, or connection to timeline. I'm hearing something about timeline theory. Didn't they say something about a theory before? What was that? Ignition theory? Or no, what did they say? Something about it was to do with the fire. Something theory. Okay, and something about anchor theory. Well, one goes up and one goes down. Yeah, again, this polarity, vertical polarity. One up, one down. Now I'm hearing one-upsmanship. And they're showing me in a video game when you hit like in Super Mario, when you hit the block and it goes bloop, 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 one up, you get one extra life. And they're showing me that elevation up to the mountain peak again, one up. But again, I love how richly coded and symbolic in dual messages this reading is, because one up can be portrayed in the ways that I've just described, like going up a life or going up the mountain, which can be a positive thing, or it can also be one-upsmanship, which was what they mentioned before, and that can be a negative connotation, like trying to outdo someone. That can be that shadow side of the liberator. So this is fascinating to me. I love these types of readings because it really gets my mind working. It gets the gears turning. And I hope that this is what it's doing for you as well, because it feels like you're studying something here, group number 2, whether you're doing it formally or you're doing it informally just for your own curiosity because it has been piqued, right? This is what they're wanting to talk about with you, is looking at these themes. And you can do it in a fun and playful way. It doesn't have to be all academic, but there's something about it that's going to be very worth the investment of your time, is what they just said. Something about an investment anyway. I'm reading it as worth the investment in your time, but they did just say investment, something about an investment. It feels like it's worth investing to or into. That is so random, and I have no idea what this is going to mean, but they just said crab-tacular. What? Sometimes I do readings and I'm just like, what the actual, what? But yeah, crab-tacular, something about crabs, crab spaces, they said. Crab spaces. I don't know what that means. Crab spaces. where the crabs are. Okay, let me just free associate and try to understand what this might mean. I'm seeing like crabs on the beach, you know, where crabs would be. They're in the sand, or they're in the water, or they're under the rocks. Like crab spaces, I would think of crabs as being under rocks. Yeah, I'm seeing tide pools now. This is where water gathers on the land. And they're saying something about the tide going in and out, up and down. Yeah, rising and falling. Yeah, something about energy or frequency rising and falling. These ups and downs, and the crabs being exposed. Crabtacular. Now I'm seeing crabs in the bucket. And they're playing that song. Who's that by? Gnarls Barkley or something? Crabs in the bucket. You know, like, and that refers to if one crab in a bucket of other crabs tries to escape and climb out, the rest of the crabs will pull it down. Like, why? What's the point of that? Like, if you can't get out, neither can I. So there's something about this low vibration of again, the shadow side of the liberator, wanting to like pull other people down if you can't liberate yourself, or some aspect of humanity that's displaying that quality or trait. And the true liberation that is actually meant to be understood here. They're saying the word herald again, heralding. Didn't they say that later? Yeah, it was connected to that message of the torch, being a pioneer or holding the torch up, or maybe something about illuminating this in some way, or talking about this or sharing this. I don't know why, but they're showing me the claw, specifically the claw of the crab. One big claw, one little claw. Do they have one big claw, one little claw? One is for grabbing, one is for holding. That's what Spirit just said. What's the difference? Well, I guess one would be one that reaches out, and then one would be the one that holds. It's reminding me of Scary Movie. Grab my strong hand, child. Again, so many movie references. Grab my strong hand. Like, you've got one strong hand and one that's kind of smaller or weaker. It's not meant to grab things, it's just meant to hold them. Okay, I just heard in the hands of God, and they're showing me something about like this, like palms up and open hands. It's reminding me of the emoji that is like that. Receiving something, reaching for something, getting something. I heard a certain degree of knowledge, and they're showing me a scroll like a degree. Like a graduate degree or something, a university degree, but it doesn't have to be literal. It doesn't have to be academic. Like I said earlier, this could just be you getting a degree of knowledge through studying something that piques your interest on your own terms or in your own time. Again, something to do with time or timelines. Maybe there were some lower timelines that were dragging down these upper timelines, and we're kind of having to look at those, or you're looking at those and then shining light on it and elevating the collective out of that in some way. Maybe this is connected to higher service, or this is connected to that greater good. For that, I'm hearing something about purpose, like this is connected to something you're doing on purpose, or that is purposeful to you, or a higher purpose. I'm hearing perfect, something about perfect or perfection, the perfect frequency, the perfect timeline. They're saying achievable and need to regain something about status, needing to regain status, soul status. So this isn't like human status where it's like, oh, everybody looks at me in this way and I'm so great. Like, no. I don't know why that sounded like Dracula. But there's something about elevating this status. Ooh, Dracula, vampires, yeah, and shadow and archetypes and energy, like draining something and needing to regain something so you can get up above it or away from it. Yeah, there's something about an elevation and an expansion here for you, group number 2, or at least that Spirit wants to talk about with you. Okay, now they're showing me eggs in a basket. Eggs in a basket. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, or no, it doesn't feel quite like that though. They're just showing me eggs in a basket. Maybe this is talking about like wealth. I don't know why I'm getting wealth from that. Like the eggs feel like, ooh, this is so valuable. And you got a whole bunch of them there. It feels like somehow you've laid those eggs. Did they say offspring in this reading? Or was that group 1? I can't. Once I'm in the channel, it's hard to remember because I'm downriver from where I started. So it's like, where was I? But something about the eggs feels abundant. It feels rich. It feels solid in some way. But it also feels like knowledge. And there's like a wealth of knowledge, or a wealth of like a knowledge bank that you can contribute to or that you can create from. Something about holding on to again. Oh yeah, the two hands. One hand on the basket, reaching versus holding. Maybe this is about vibration, like what vibration are you reaching for versus what vibration are you holding? And something about study or studying those vibrations is involved in this process. Now the word others just jumped out at me. Yourself and others. Is it you versus others, or is it you with others? Yeah, that seems to be a theme here. I'm hearing collective good. And the birds are chirping outside the window. The mic's probably not going to pick that up, but I can hear it. It just caught my attention. And whenever I'm in a reading and something catches my attention, it is significant. So this could be about paying attention to what catches your attention and piques your interest, and reading into that a little bit, not like obsessing over it, but just analyzing it or being open to reaching for some kind of higher knowledge about it. Like, it is that deep, go deeper with it. And not everything is just surface level. You can interpret it in a multitude of different ways, as Spirit has displayed in this reading. Like, one word can have two meanings. And this is what we're looking at here with the light and dark. One energy can have two sides to it. And they want you to explore that. But yeah, the birds chirping feels like a good sign, a good omen, if you will. And especially since we were just talking about that basket of eggs, it feels like there's something that you're able to get to here that you're going to be singing about. The birds singing feels like a herald again. And that is a wealth that can be shared, or is meant to be shared. Okay. All right, group number 2, that's the reading. Those are the messages that Spirit wanted to bring through to you at this time. Interpret it as you will. But yeah, there's so much richness in this reading. I hope it was helpful. Let me know how it resonates if you feel called to in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching my videos, for liking, for subscribing, sticking around if you feel called to do so and you resonate with this energy or these messages. Keep in mind that not every reading or every message is going to resonate, so just take what does as usual. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. Thanks again to you guys who have supported my work here on the channel in multiple different ways, from the members who have memberships here and they get access to additional content and live streams with me, and also to those of you who have donated to my fundraiser to help me recover from some pretty bad financial debt and energetic debt that I've been in, and to not have to go through the process of bankruptcy. So thank you for that. I really appreciate all of you guys helping to sustain that. I made a video about it on my other channel, the Divine Channel Collective Readings, and I will be doing an update there as well as things continue to unfold. But I'm just really grateful, and I'm feeling more hopeful than I have in a long time. So deepest gratitude to all of you who have supported in any way that you have, energetically, through prayers, love, and support, and financially, of course, as well. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Lover's card from the Archetype deck by Caroline Myss. And it says light attributes, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. I'm seeing a wild horse, unbridled. Shadow attributes are obsessive passion that harms others and self-destructive devotion. And right before starting the camera, I took a sip of my coffee and I kind of like turned to my side here, and I have a bookcase on my right. And a bottle of energy clearing spray that I have caught my eye. It's called Clear Vibrations Energy Spray by Vibe Tribe Notions. And I started hearing the song, Good Vibrations. It's such a sweet sensation. So there's something about like these good vibrations in love or romance. And I'm feeling that energy actually pulsing through me now that I'm dipping my toes into this reading. Maybe you're getting into a relationship that is creating a lot of positive energy in your life or within your body, like the oxytocin and the serotonin and the dopamine are pumping out and it feels good. And they keep highlighting the word obsessive in my mind here. I'm like seeing it clairvoyantly in my third eye. They're highlighting it there. So, and they're saying dropping it, like there's some kind of obsession that has been dropped, and it's elevating this vibration or the status of this relationship, if it is a relationship that we're talking about. Could be a relationship with yourself, or the relationship with yourself. It is the most important relationship you will ever have, in my opinion, the relationship with self. And everything else is simply a reflection of that. But okay, I'm hearing ego presence, like the presence of your ego, and getting into relationship and understanding with that, with yourself, and the different aspects or fractals or dualities of the self. But they keep playing that song, Good Vibrations. So yeah, I get the sense in group number 3 that something good is coming. I'm hearing something good is coming of this. Of what, Spirit? Something good is coming of this. Something about a time period. I'm hearing a time period of good fortune, and Kitty is meowing in the background. Kitty is for confirmation. Kitty, do you want to come here, or are you just going to stand out there and meow for whatever reason? I just heard something about a heart-shaped box. It's reminding me of, like on Valentine's Day when they sell those boxes of chocolates in heart shapes. I keep those. I like them. I think they're pretty, and I use them for storing like my little crystals and stuff like that. They want me to show you. All right. Yeah, hold on. This is it's probably kind of dusty. It just kind of sits on top of my bookcase, but look how huge this thing is. I got it from the dollar store. It was like $3 a couple years ago, and I've kept it, and I've used it for all of these crystals. I'm hearing life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump. There's something about like these crystals, or the variety, or like love having so many options for you, and not just romantic love, but like maybe I'm hearing what? Never. Okay, hold on. Let me put this. No, they said keep it here. Okay. We'll keep this energy in your reading. Something about situational love is what I just heard. And now I'm hearing situational awareness. I'm being drawn to these crystals, like these darker ones. Yeah, these are very dusty. Oh, my poor crystals. I need to clean them up. But these darker crystals, these are grounding and purifying energies. I'm hearing the word hematite. I don't think I have any hematite here. I have some somewhere, or unless this is hematite. If it's magnetic, it is. If it's not, I don't know. Something about hematite. Maybe there's a magnetic attraction. That's what that's making, but it's very grounding. I just heard something about people will be pleased with your upgrade. The volcanic rock is drawing my attention too, like this. Ooh, and it feels like heavy and hard to hold in my hand, like it's shaking almost. I'm shaking it obviously, but it feels like that energetically, like it's like this. What is that about? Good vibrations, right? The vibrations. Oh my God, I just put that together. Okay, there's something about a vibration, and maybe it's grounding into reality, because those black crystals, and especially the volcanic, is like this eruption of energy that solidifies. The magma turns to lava rock. So something is solidifying, possibly in love or in a relationship, and it is cleansing or purifying, or maybe you're upgrading in some way in your love. Or they keep saying situational awareness. What are you talking about? They're showing me the cat that I have here on this one. Situational awareness, like a cat. Their senses are heightened. You're very aware. Maybe the sacral chakra is significant here. Bonding, sexuality, lover, literally lover, the lover. A romantic heart. Ooh. They said magnetic again. Look at this little green aventurine heart that I have. Good luck and blessings, I'm hearing. That's what it is. Green aventurine is very lucky. Your heart is blessed, I heard. And I'm hearing, I don't know why I just wanted to say I'm hearing, because I'm not actually, they didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything, but it came out of my mouth. I'm hearing. Maybe you're hearing, because they were showing me the ears of the cat being picked up, like sensing the vibrations of the environment, or like being able to pick up on sounds that the normal ear wouldn't hear. Maybe this is your heart doing that, because green, again, also heart chakra, malachite, super cleansing and healing for the heart chakra. Something about luck, love, and blessings. And I was being drawn to these fossils as well. So something from the past, again, something that's solidified. These are like solid rocks, grounding, something solidified, something physicalized in a situation. Peacock ore, somehow that's significant here too. I was seeing peacock synchronicities this morning. They're showing me this snail crawling your way forward, like slowly inching your way forward in love or in relationship or in a situation that has been slow moving. Yeah, they're showing me when magma starts to harden, it slows down, but it becomes solid and then you can walk on it. And it's very cleansing and purifying. And it's this new earth that becomes fertile for populating or for growing in or for expanding. Yeah, I'm seeing this like heart chakra ring that I have. The vibration is really strong for you here at group number 3 in love and relationships and what you're building physically, structurally, in terms of love, romance, or relationships in your life. So I don't know what your relationship status is, and I'm not going to try and read into that, because first of all, it's none of my business. And second of all, it feels like it's not about that in this reading. Like I just don't feel called to even reach for that information, because spirit will just bring me whatever is relevant. And I'm feeling like what's relevant here is your ability to be in this high vibration, this passion, this devotion, this appreciation, as it says in the card here. And it says for someone, of someone, or something. And it feels, they said situational love. So maybe this is about being, I heard appropriately engaged. Engagement is related to love if we're looking at it that way, but they said appropriately engaged in a situation, or appropriately engaged in something. What do you mean? Quartz. Appropriately engaged in what you're creating, in the passion around what you want. I heard dragon's tail or dragon's timeline. That could be talking about, what is it? Rahu, North Node, this Dragon's Head, K2, South Node, Dragon's Tail. Could be something about the South Node or something from the past. And an appropriate level of engagement, meaning that you're dropping any obsessive energy or tendencies. I'm hearing the words overexertion. And they're showing it to me like it's falling away. Anything that was unstable is falling away. Or any approach to love that was out of balance is falling away, being healed. And they're showing me malachite again. And malachite it's not a black crystal, but it's very purifying, like a black crystal is, or like these dark crystals are. So the dark crystal reminds me of the movie The Dark Crystal, when the light and the shadow aspects merge together. Or something about this connection with someone else that really stimulates you and allows you to access additional sensory information of some kind and ground that into reality and make it practical. I'm hearing something about juicy bits, something about, it feels like relational love, sexuality. Something about a kitty cat. Yeah, they did. Well, I've got the cat here, and Kitty's been meowing in your reading. There's something about a cat. Oh, to do with sexuality. I'm not going to say it because it's a public reading. I don't know who's watching, but there's something about kitty cat and love and sexuality. You put it together. Kitty. Yes, baby. black snowflake obsidian too. All these dark crystals about purification. Maybe this is a yoni cleanse. I don't know, or cleanse of your sacral chakra. Something about that. Removing any old energy from the past so that you can move forward and have a healthy engagement or a healthy relationship or a healthy way of engaging with this love energy. Yeah, they keep saying malachite and drawing me back here. So I'm going to hold it up so that you guys can really connect to the energy specifically of this crystal, letting it draw out any impurities, poisons, or obsessions when it comes to romance, love, lovers, sexual partners, anything like that. Just letting it pull that energy out of your system. Anything toxic, anything harmful, anything destructive, we're just going to let that be absorbed right into this crystal right now. Okay, so imagine that energy moving out of your body, out of your womb space, out of your genitals, out of your heart, out of your every fiber of your being, just letting that go, letting that release and absorb into this crystal. Okay, and it's not going to do any harm to the crystal or myself. We know how to heal this energy and to handle it, so don't worry about that. Just let that love fill your being and replace, I'm hearing something about a swamp, replacing the swamp of that energy. Maybe there was despair. It's reminding me of the swamp of despair in the Never-Ending Story. Maybe you've been in relationships that felt like a never-ending story time and time again, never getting that passion or that degree of fidelity or commitment you were looking for, that connection and that depth that you were seeking. But there's something being removed here that was preventing that, and to prevent you from continuing to experience that same story again and again. And there's new growth that is coming from this. So release, 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 release. Good. I'm hearing something about people pleasing. Yeah, let that go. Let all of that go. Group number 3, let all of that go. And let this goodness of this true love and situational love, partnership love, and self-love enter and fill your body and your space. Right now, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Spirit, for this healing. I wasn't expecting to do healing today, but this is what we're doing. Let me grab my selenite too to cleanse out and clear that energy. I can feel it vibrating in my hands. So I'm just going to kind of work that into the selenite and clear that out. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing me to provide this healing today. I'm hearing something about members. If there's a member watching this reading, this was also for you. But for everybody who was drawn to this group and who felt comfortable to release or felt that it was time and necessary to release any of that dense energy. All right. Yeah. And, when you release that dense energy, it frees up space. I'm hearing something about time and space. Non-local, they're saying, and like a connection with someone that's non-local. Maybe this is someone from the past. I'm also hearing non-loco, as in like not crazy. You're not crazy for feeling the energy of someone that's at a distance from you or someone in the past. Or maybe you're attracting someone who's not crazy. Or maybe you're dropping that like tinge of crazy obsession energy, which is it's not anybody's fault when we get obsessive in love like that. It's chemicals, and sometimes it's our own inner security issues, the way we were raised. There's so many factors to it, and there's absolutely no judgment here on this channel about that. If anything, I've dealt with it myself, and so I have the opposite of judgment. I have understanding through the experience and the wisdom of my lived experience with that. So it's all love here. Clearly, lover. And this big old box of love here for you, group number 3, just nothing but love. Okay, now I'm hearing nothing but the best, nothing but the best, nothing but the mother bleeping best. Don't settle for any less than you deserve here, group number 3, when it comes to any kind of love. Don't settle for less. Expect the best. They said expectations lead to rewards. Now that's an interesting statement, Spirit, because I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that expectations can sometimes lead to disappointment or attachment to the outcome, and that leads to disappointment. But there's something about expectation leading to rewards here, because they just said that. So let me dig into that and dissect it a bit. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Spirit has been showing me synchronicities in like what I've been drawn to recently, lately, like, or what's been drawn to me, I should say. Something about magnetic attraction here for sure. But they've been showing me examples of like dissecting past relationships to understand what killed them. You know, it's like that relationship post-mortem where you're doing the autopsy on what didn't work and maybe where it contributed to the quote unquote failure of a relationship. Although I don't believe in failure when it comes to relationships. I believe in learning and experiences that help us to grow and evolve, even if it's in painful ways sometimes through heartbreak. But there's always healing at the other end of that. Two sides of that same spectrum. Again, they're talking about magnetic attraction, energy, high vibration, moving the needle on the spectrum here. But yeah, there's something about understanding why patterns in love took place the way that they did, so that never-ending story actually does have an end, and it's a happy one at that. Finally, nothing but the best. This happy or happily ever after. This could be to do with, this obsession with that idea even of happily ever after and what that actually means for you. Maybe it's not so much about this outcome or the narrative that happily ever after story teaches us to believe in. Maybe it's about living in the everyday and embracing the love of the situation, whatever it looks like, and embracing what it's opening up within you, what it's teaching you, what you're healing from it, what you're cleansing or purifying. Like really just embracing the love of every moment is kind of what it feels like to me. I just heard taking life at face value, but when I went to say that, I heard a deep value. So maybe this is about looking beyond that surface and not necessarily seeing things just as they are, but as they could be, or looking at that deeper level, like what's underneath and what it's formed as it erupted out. Okay, they just showed me a cave and it caving in. They said caving in, and as they said that, they were showing me that cave with all these rocks, like boulders falling down, caving in. Okay, now they just said cave of wonders, and it's reminding me of in Aladdin when the cave crumbles from the inside out. What are you talking about here, Spirit? The love of a magnate, they said? The love of a magnate? Or I'm not sure if I misheard that word. It kind of sounded like magnet. Again, I was talking about magnetic energy or magnetic attraction here. I just heard something about a salesman. Don't sell yourself short. And don't go for like a sales pitch. Look below the surface. Feel the energy, feel the vibrations, and not just what someone sends to you, but what is evoked within you in someone else's presence. I think that's important here. So I just heard long term, and they said Death of a Salesman, which I think is a movie or something. I've never seen it, but there's something about that could be relevant here. I don't know what it's about. They said relational love. Do you mean that's what the movie is about, or is that a separate message? I don't know. They didn't clarify. They just said it again, relational love. So, well, this is clearly what the message is about for you, group number 3, relational love. But it's funny because earlier they said situational love, and now I'm thinking in my head, like, what's the difference? Or maybe you're meant to look at the difference, or maybe you're meant to understand both of those frequencies, both of those energies, and welcoming something really good here is what it feels like. I'm hearing I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say I'm feeling something in my chest opening up. So heart chakra expansion and opening. They're showing me the rib cage going like this. So yeah, there's an opening of the heart, and the rib cage feels like a cage, like something that was trapping your heart opening. But technically the ribs are there to protect the heart, but in a healthy relationship, those self-care boundaries can still stay in place and be honored and respected by the appropriate partner or friend or whomever. I just heard alligator tears. Alligator tears. My mom used to say that to me when I was a kid, and I would have a meltdown about something or a temper tantrum. But like, you don't actually cry real tears. You just kind of like go, maybe there's something that emotionally was not able to be expressed in some way. Like it was in there, you were feeling it, but it wasn't able to come out, because the tears to me symbolize a release. Something about toxic people I'm hearing, and they're showing me that tear coming out of the eye and holding a lot of toxicity in it. So there is a cleansing and a purification that's happening here. I was getting that from the crystal choices that they're drawing me to. Definitely cleansing and purifying. But yeah, those crocodile tears, it doesn't feel like it's a faking of emotion. It feels in this moment, the way that I'm feeling it and seeing it, sensing it, is more so like it was an emotion that was there and felt, but so intensely, or maybe even like there was, I'm hearing the word distraction, or maybe there was repression of it or avoidance of it to the degree that it was never able to be expressed. Or maybe someone is using alligator tears to manipulate and control, or did in the past, and this was a distraction and kept that never-ending story repeating for you, cycling through time, and fossilized it in that sense that it like got stuck in a way. But you're excavating it, right? Like digging into the ground, looking at the fossil, what happened in the past, to understand it, to study it, to not have to repeat that again. That's what it feels like. And I heard, that's so funny. I just heard Spirit say, what a lovely message. Lovely message. Yeah, what a lovely message. Or maybe you're going to get a message from someone and you're going to say, what a lovely message. Loving the situation, I'm hearing. Something about the shoes that you're in. Loving the situation, loving the shoes that you're in. The place that you are, something about the shoes. Feet have to do with roots to me. These black stones are root chakra energy, grounding something again. The shoes that you're in, maybe it's about understanding your own journey, because you understand like the shoes, you've walked a mile in your own shoes and you understand yourself a bit better, or you've been able to analyze that, or somebody else is able to meet you on that level. They're showing me high heels and dress shoes being pointed towards each other. And it's reminding me of marriage, like, but I'm only seeing the shoes, like empty shoes on the altar facing each other. I don't know what that means. A divorce, or maybe, or a marriage, or an upcoming, like you're going to put yourself in those shoes. I don't know how to interpret that, but I'm just relaying what they're showing me. That's an interesting image. It feels like the ghost of something, like there's something that should be there, but it's not. It's just the shoes, just the empty shoes. But I can almost see like a holographic overlay of the bride with the veil and the groom with the tux, but like they're not there in the shoes. Something about filling the void or filling the spot. Placeholder. Was a relationship like a placeholder for the one? Or placeholder also makes me think of in weddings, when you put the name, the placeholder, the placard, or whatever it's called, I can't remember, but it's the name plate that you put, or the name tag that you put over near someone's spot where they are going to sit for the reception. Now I'm hearing paper plates. Well, that's a big difference from what I was just seeing, which was like these beautiful like ivory plates or golden plates on this table, china plates, on not ivory, I meant china, on the table of this wedding reception or this banquet hall. And then they said paper plates, those little Dixie paper plates. I mean, nothing wrong with that. If you want to have like a really just, down to earth, grounded style wedding, or like a picnic or something, that's beautiful too. Maybe it's about what brings you joy. It's not about like the flash and the grandeur of it. Maybe it's just about what it feels like. I think that's what's most important, what it feels like and the authenticity of that. But it's interesting, the paper plate. The paper plate, the downside to it is that if there's too much piled on the plate, it can kind of like fold in half. Or if there's too much wet stuff piled on it, it can crumble, start to dissolve. Something swampy or liquidy needed to be removed because it was like weighing down your plate, or you need to upgrade that plate. Like, don't settle for a paper plate if you want a china plate, Yeah. Or if you Yeah, the word deserving is coming up, something about deserving, and I'm hearing dessert as well, deserving of dessert, something about a wedding cake. Yeah, there's a lot to do with like love and marriage here. As soon as I heard that, I heard the theme song from, I don't remember what that show is called, but it's like Love and Marriage, da-da-da-da, with the baby carriage. I think that was from like the 80s. So something about love, romance, lovers, past relationships, new potential relationships, commitment, marriage, just however you want to live your life. Something about polyamory I just heard as well. What does that mean? Is that when people are dating more than one person? I personally wouldn't go for that. I'm monogamy all the way. But that's just me, and that's my personal preference. So maybe this is looking at like your situation and what you want and what works for you and what doesn't. And being able to identify that and look back at the past at what didn't work and use that as information to help build a more solid standing in your future. Again, they're showing standing in the shoes. They're showing me now standing in the shoes. Something about getting to the altar for it's so there is a definite message here about romantic love and commitment. Or you can interpret this however it applies to you. If you don't want marriage, then it's a symbolic thing about commitment or about this relationship that brings you joy, and it could just literally be with yourself. But yeah, it feels like, ooh, I just heard big shoes to fill. And they're showing me the groom's shoes being like larger and larger, like growing and growing, bigger, 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 bigger. Big shoes to fill. Something about the father. I'm hearing best man. They're showing me the angel. Kitty's meowing again. Okay, then I haven't, again, it's like covered in like cat hair and dust and everything because I haven't picked this up in a long time, but I just was drawn to this. I actually made this bracelet a long time ago, and it's rhodochrosite. So again, heart chakra crystal or stone here. This rabbit to me in this moment feels like good luck. Like a lucky rabbit's foot. There's something, or maybe this is something you've been chasing or obsessed with. You know how Alice in Wonderland gets obsessed with that rabbit? Like why she needed to follow it down the hole, I don't know. Like she just really wanted to, and she ended up in Wonderland, and it was a bit of like a wild goose chase in a sense, but she ended up where she needed to be. She ended up finding herself in the process. And I think that's really the goal of love and romance and relationships. It's to help you find yourself. We're social creatures. We do require some level of intimacy and human connection. And I think that's a healthy thing when done correctly and with good boundaries and self-knowledge. So I'm seeing a lot of luck for you here in relationships, group number 3, and I'm seeing a purification happening. We did some of it here in the reading, if you accepted that healing, and there's something new grounding into your life or being made available to you that is of a higher vibration, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Nothing but the best for you, my dears. So that's the message. That's the reading that Spirit wanted to bring through. Hold on, one last thing. They're bringing me back to the peacock ore again. Something about being shiny, like shiny and new. Something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new. Again, weddings, marriage. Oh my God. Can't get away from that message in this reading. But something about maybe you're feeling shiny and new, or you're not obsessed with shiny new things anymore. You're happy with your situation, or you're content. This could also be the peacock, can talk about being able to show up as your authentic self and not hide away, or having yourself be appreciated or even aggrandized to a certain level by a lover. Them seeing like this beauty within you or around you. Something's hidden within. They said something about like it's beyond skin deep, and they showed me that caving in. But look at this agate, this crystal. It's like there's something hidden, there's something beautiful hidden inside of it. And this one's pretty on the outside, but some of them just look like rocks on the outside. But then you crack them open and it's like, wow, look at that. It's gorgeous, filled with crystals and all of this intricate pattern. So there's something about looking beyond the surface, getting deeper into a relationship and really understanding the dynamic or the freshness of being, or this renewal that's taking place to reveal something of great value on the inside and for the long term. Okay, I think that is it. No, they said one more thing. I keep trying to end the reading, and Spirit's like, nope, one more thing. Okay, I'm here to serve, so that's what we're gonna do. They just said the rock points the way, and they showed me a rock that was the shape of an arrow, like an arrowhead almost. The rock points the way. And it was like a plain rock, you know, like one of these. It was actually this one that I was looking at when they showed it to me in my mind. The rock points the way. Something about striations, marks in the rock. Something about, again, like stability, the rocks. Love and romance, the rock, something that grounds you. Oh, you know, the rock can also symbolize it's a colloquial term, obviously, for an engagement ring. Like, well, let's see the rock. Something about that. And now I'm seeing the Rock, like the wrestler, the actor, the Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. And I'm hearing "Don't settle for less." And the Rock is such a good guy. Like, I bet you he'd be a good partner. Something about like the stability or the strength of the union of masculine and feminine, but it doesn't have to be in that sense. Okay, Kitty, I think that's it, guys, because I keep trying to end the reading and more keeps coming up, but Kitty's getting irate. She wants my attention. So I'm going to leave it there, Spirit. If there's anything else that wants to come through, we'll bring it through in another reading. Is that okay? They said, yes, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Yes, all right. I love you guys so much. I'm sending you so much love for this blessing in romance or situational love or whatever this love is showing up for in your life. I hope that it is filling your heart and healing and bringing peace and stability throughout all areas and domains of your life for your greatest and highest good and the greatest and highest good of all. And I'm hearing and your partner. So something about a partner, if you have one or if there's one coming up. Yeah. And so anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, for supporting my work on the channel. Thank you to the members who support my work. Shout out to the members who are here watching the reading, and especially for that message that came through for someone specific there. And what else? Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support of the fundraiser that I did on my other channel, the Divine Channel Collective Readings. I shared a little bit of what's going on in my personal history and with my bank account and the bankruptcy and all that. So thank you guys for your support, emotionally, physically, financially, energetically. It's all been extremely healing and it's liberating me. So thank you for that. Much appreciation, deepest gratitude. And if you're interested, I'll be doing updates there as things continue to unfold and as the story expands. Okay. Yes, I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.